It's a little less smoky today. I love hike and walk days. And it's cold this morning. I'm wearing a sweater. I kind of feel like I'm getting ready for hunting season. It's a good morning. Hey, so it is partway through the day. It's like 4:15 and I just watched the masterclass 2.4, specifically on motivation and leadership behaviors. And they said to highlight one supporting behavior you have and one that is thwarting. So I want to start out with, I think that my supporting behavior that I'm best at is giving people choice. I have literally changed every single job description that we had already in place when I first started working at the nonprofit I work at. And that's because when I brought people onto the team, or even with the old people too, I tried to see what they were interested in, what they liked doing, what they were good at. And then I tried to give them the opportunity to work on projects that interested them. And so, whether it was a big choice like, taking over, a different position, or, adding a different position, adding different job responsibilities, or maybe, offloading some that either they felt they weren't good at and weren't interested in learning about, or just didn't have time for, but they were really efficient at something else. So I feel like I do a good job of that, and people really take ownership in their work at our nonprofit because of that. And the thwarting behavior that I have to point out is that I can be a very impatient person. And I try to at least once a year spend the day doing the position, that I'm asking everyone else to do. So, once I'll help with commodities, or, drive someone to the doctor, or, go do a home visit, just so that I make sure I'm not asking anything unreasonable of my people. But then I also sometimes think that they should have gotten things done a lot faster, because a lot of times I get so focused on the work that I'm like, oh, it just needs to be done and it's not that hard. But then I forget about, the other huge part of that, which is just the human connection, especially in my line of work, is so important to create bonds and connections that will allow people to open up so that we can help them to the best of our ability. So I'm calling myself out, and I think I do a good job of not showing people that I'm impatient, but in my head I'm like super impatient. So look, there's Tommy. You know what that means? Here he is. This means I have to go work out now. Hey you guys, it's right before bed, and I guess a highlight of my day was for the social domain. I called someone who I felt had let me down, and that they could have done better and communicated more and fought harder for a deal we were working on. It was professional, and that incident happened a couple weeks ago, and I kind of had been letting it lie and not addressing anything because it wasn't urgent. In fact, there was nothing we could do to resolve it until recently. And it wasn't something that was really nagging at me, but it was just something that, I knew I was gonna have to talk about with them. And I feel a lot better now, and I'm glad that we finally had that conversation. So yeah, doing the uncomfortable things get easier, and I feel like I feel better in the long run. So this day's in the books, ready for, I think, day 10 tomorrow. Also, in my previous video, I did the math wrong, so technically day 10 tomorrow once I get that completed. if you're thinking about it gym style, then I'll have 5 more sets. So it's going good though. I'm glad I'm doing this. It's renewing my purpose and sense of self. So have a good night, you guys. I'll be back tomorrow.